And let's not pretend that they play James Harden on the 10th. I guarantee you KD's got that marked on his calendar.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee you James has got that marked on his too. So we are in for quite a show on March 10th when the Brooklyn Nets play the Philadelphia 76ers. And you know that KD is going to look at that as this is my opportunity to show him I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't forget how you ended it in Brooklyn. And I want the smoke. We all know KD is not shy to come across to the media aggressively. We know that KD is not a petty player, but someone that remembers when someone crosses him. When Russ was talking shit and KD had to respond to the media, you know who I am. Do you
Yep.
know who I'm Kevin Durant. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he has earned the right in his great career to be confident. And I'm looking forward to see how he responds to the Nets' potential struggle, to his first initial couple of games of him getting back in game shape, game rhythm, because we all know not everybody has the ability to come back from a 6, 8, 9 week, whatever it is, window he was out and just come back and drop 30 immediately. So don't be surprised if he starts off a little rough around the edges, a little rusty. But again, Kyle and I, as well as the rest of the world, March 10th is going to be a must-sit TV. Get your popcorn ready because those two players are going to be exchanging back and forth.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is with the Nets, I think, really have to make the most of March because this is the stretch where they have to get back into a top seeded contention in the Eastern Conference because, you know, look, I mean, the Nets have had kind of a disappointing year just because there's been a lot of drama associated with them. The injuries have bothered them. They've had their bouts of COVID as well. But I think this team is going to start really rounding into form in this late stretch of the season. But they have to make the most of it. This is a huge stretch coming up. And really, when you kind of get into those top 4 or 5 seeds in the Eastern Conference, that's where like these teams get log jammed. And there's not that much of a difference as far as like the number 1 seed compared to like the 4 seed. Because if memory serves me right, I think Cleveland's only like 3.5 or 4 games behind Miami for the first seed in the Eastern Conference. So if the Nets kind of find themselves in that situation towards the end of March going into April, I think if they just play consistent and they play their style of basketball, dude, they are well primed to get to a top 2, top 3 position. But it's like I said, these guys got to play up to snuff, and they can't screw off here. They got to be on point here moving forward. And I do think that KD is going to bring a sense of urgency to that team. And really, bro, I mean, Kyrie, even though he's not playing home games, bro, he's been phenomenal. This dude is just he's on another level right now. I mean, 38 against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is one of the better defensive teams in the NBA, and Kyrie was dancing on them. I mean, and Milwaukee in that game, they were fully loaded going up against Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is still missing Ben Simmons, who hasn't gotten his debut yet, and Kevin Durant. I mean, you're talking about 2 pivotal pieces moving forward for the Nets, and despite that, Kyrie's able to go out there on the floor, dance and boogie on all of Milwaukee, give them damn near 40, and get a dub on the road. I listen, bro. I know Kyrie's kind of had his own issues. He's created his own sense of drama throughout the years, whether it was in Boston, whether it's been in Cleveland, or now in Brooklyn. But dude, I cannot deny what this guy has been doing this season when he's been on the court. He's not playing half the games because of those vaccine restrictions in New York, but he's making the most of it on the road. He is not playing down to competition. He is going out there and balling out. And I got to give that man credit because he's been phenomenal when he gets going, bro.
Kyrie ain't no joke, bro. We all know the type of player he is on the court. When he's on, I've said it for years. He is unguardable. There is not a soul on earth that can stand in front of him and say, "I got him." Because ain't that let me know when that person exists. I would have loved to see Gary Payton try. I would have loved to see Ron Artest try. Like, we're talking prime elite defenders in not just our era, but then in our parents, because they're known for what they've done on the court for defensive reasons. But Kyrie Irving, he cooks everybody, man. And when he's in his bag like that, bro, you ain't stopping
His
him.
his handles are
It's the greatest handle
unlike,
in NBA history.
no doubt. I mean, we've seen some great handles in the past. Like AI had great handles in his time, but dude, with Kyrie, that ball is on a string. I mean, just the way that he's able to contort that ball and be able to maintain the dribble. and then be able to pull up from 15, 20 feet out, or for God's sakes, hit a step back three if it's there. The dude's electrifying. And I know it's kind of unfortunate that he's not playing in half the games because of the vaccine restrictions in New York City. But dude, I'm just saying right now, if New York lifts those mandates moving forward as we get closer to the playoffs and Kyrie's able to play in those home games, I'm telling you right now, I think the Nets are literally a vaccine mandate away from winning a title this year. But it really just kind of depends on whether or not that New York is going to lift those. But it's kind of crazy to kind of like form that type of statement around a vaccine mandate, because we all know what Kyrie's talents are. We all know what his skill set is. But dude, if he's able to play those home games for Brooklyn, that's a nightmare scenario for these teams in the Eastern Conference that are trying to make a push in the Eastern Conference playoffs. It's going to be a nightmare scenario if he's able to play in those home games, because you can't tell me that the Nets wouldn't be front runners if Kyrie's playing all those games. It's a difference maker moving forward if that's
significant.
The case. Significant. It's, dude, I'm stumbling. I'm literally stumbling over, Kyrie, just because the dude's incredible. Granted, I know he has this little bouts of drama here and there, but I can't deny the man's skill set. The dude's just on another level.
Big time.